Hello, and welcome back to our Advocacy Month of Action training series. I'm Chelsea, and I'm once again joined by Phil from Health and Medicine Council of Washington. This video is going to outline the steps to find your members of Congress and tips for contacting them. Before we get started, another thank you to our sponsor of the Month of Action, Takeda. Now I'm going to hand it off to Phil to outline the steps to take to find and contact your members.
Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you all again for tuning in. So first, I want to go over how to contact your member of the House of Representatives. First, you want to go to www.house.gov. Once you're on that website, you're going to want to conduct a search using your zip code under the Find Your Representative box. You type in your zip code, it'll then bring you to a map with your member. What's going to be important for the House is because there are many different districts in different states and how they are drawn, you're going to want to have your full address available so that you can type that in as well, so it can give you exactly who your member of Congress is. You might put your zip code in and have 2 or 3 members pop up. It'll then ask you to put in your full address, and that'll give you who exactly is your member of the House of Representatives. Once you find that individual, click on their picture. That'll take you to their website. We encourage you then to look up their office locations and find out which office is closest to you. Depending on the size of the district, a member might have several different offices in their district, or they might just have one main one. What's going to be key is finding which one is closest to you and then give them a call to schedule a time to meet with them. We also encourage you to, while you're on their website, to sign up for newsletter updates, to follow them on social media, because it gives you the opportunity to continue to see what they're doing, not only here in Washington, but at home as well. Now, how to contact your 2 U.S. senators. It's a very similar process to the House, but for this, you're going to go to www.senate.gov. You're going to conduct a search using Find Your Senators. It's a pull-down menu in the upper right corner. You're going to select your state and click Go. From there, it'll show you the name and website for your 2 U.S. senators. You don't have to worry about your zip code or your address there because your 2 senators are for your state, your entire state. Once you see your 2 senators, click on their websites. Again, it'll take you to their homepage. We encourage you to see which state office location is closest to you. If you are in a very large state such as Texas, California, or New York, you'll see multiple office locations. Find the one that's closest to you. We also encourage you to reach out and sign up for their newsletters, follow them on social media, again, as a way to follow what they do here in Washington and back home in your state.
So I mentioned this before, but if you have any trouble or have a question about how to find your representative or senator, please feel free to reach out to me with an email or phone call, and I'll be happy to help you. Also, I typically recommend starting your outreach efforts with your representative. There's no real rhyme or reason, but that's typically the strategy I personally use when doing advocacy on an issue. And so when you find your representative and then eventually your senators, be sure to visit their official website, like Phil was saying, and look for their office locations. Many times I found that this is right at the bottom of the website or it's on a separate contact page. And then find the local office that is listed, and you might have to do some Googling to either find the phone number or maybe an email, or it might be a contact form. And then you reach out and request a meeting with that office. Remember, at this point, we're requesting that everybody asks to hold a phone meeting. Don't forget to send me an email when you do that and let me know how your outreach is going. If you reach out to the office and haven't heard back from them, that's totally okay. And reach out to me and we will figure out together another strategy to have your voice heard. It might be sending an email, it might be submitting your story through a contact form, but either way, we will make sure that your voice is heard. Now, we're going to assume you have a phone meeting set up with a local office. To prepare for that meeting, I recommend going through all of these videos. You're already on the second one, so great job. I also recommend combing through the other materials on the website page that led you to this video and be familiar with advocacy, our legislative agenda, and the whole process. Finally, remember that advocacy is done most effectively when you share your story. Work on preparing what you want to share, maybe with bullet points or an outline or whatever process makes sense to you. And remember that because you're doing a virtual phone meeting, you can have as much information in front of you as you want, meaning you can type out what you want to say and read from a script, or you can keep bullet points in front of you to guide your thoughts. Either way, don't stress about memorizing facts, figures, or the things you want to say. Go ahead and use your notes. So Phil, why don't you walk us through how a typical meeting goes?
Sure. Thank you, Chelsea. And first, I just want to reiterate something that Chelsea mentioned. Please don't feel intimidated by any of this preparation. All of the information and materials can be found through the foundation, and Chelsea is available, and through Chelsea, I am as well, to answer any questions that folks may have. And we really are a resource for anybody who has any questions, or if you want to know if you are doing things the right way, we are here to help. So quickly, just to go over a typical outline of meeting with a staff member or a member themselves. First, start off by introducing yourself and thanking them for taking the time to meet with you. It's also very valuable to mention where you're from. So if you are meeting with Senator Schumer, just where I'm originally from, I would say, hi, I'm Phil Goglis from Long Island, New York. It's a pleasure to meet with you today. And then what that does is, by identifying yourself as a constituent, you place importance on everything that you're going to say, because as we mentioned in our previous video, legislators use information and outreach from their constituents to influence what policies they support on Capitol Hill. Mention that you are volunteering as an advocate with the GBS-CIDP Foundation International. Most importantly, share your story. You can check the toolkit for the training tips that we have on how to effectively share your story. Keep it concise, write it down, use bullet points. Remember, that's what you are an expert in. Chelsea or myself, we can help with the policy, but you are the one who is first and foremost an expert in your experience. What has your journey been? What challenges have you faced? We're going to ask that you make note and mention our legislative requests and our asks. You'll see them in the next training video. You'll also be able to access them through the advocacy page and through the foundation materials. So we ask you to familiarize yourself with those, share those with the office or the staffer that you're meeting with. And remember, if you don't remember all of the policy technicalities and definitive details, that is perfectly okay. We ask that you let us know how the meetings go. That's an opportunity for us to follow up. So if we hear that somebody, excuse me, was in a meeting with a Senate office from Texas and they couldn't remember exactly what the NIH number was, that's perfectly okay. Chelsea and I then use that information to follow up with them, thank them for meeting with you, and share that relevant policy information with them. Afterwards, thank them for their time. Let them know that you would like to follow up with them, ask for their contact information, who in the local office and who in the DC office they should be speaking with, because advocacy is not something that's just one day. It's something that's truly every day of the year. And we want everybody to develop key relationships with your legislators so that way we can continue to develop them into champions on behalf of our community.
Thank you so much, Phil. And that brings us to a quick summary. Of course, a reminder to be yourself during any meeting that you have, but also be prepared. Take notes, have an outline, practice, and don't be afraid to have cheat sheets and notes in front of you during the meeting, especially now that it's all going to be phone calls. Finally, as a bonus, invite a friend or family member to also virtually participate. Remember that there is strength in numbers. That concludes this part of the training, and there's only one piece left where we will talk about our legislative agenda. I hope to see you soon.